Update 1.5.0 has been released, bringing us some much needed balance changes, bug fixes, a bigger store, better security, and a new LTM solo banquet. This is a brand new limited time event where you and 12 other people race to secure 40,000 cash. And in today's video, I am going to be going over the patch notes and discuss my thoughts on these changes. But before we get started with the patch notes, if you find this video helpful, consider leaving a sub down below, as I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to break 5K subs for the first time ever, so it would be amazing if you could. If you guys want to read the full list of patch notes yourself, I will leave a link down below in the description. I know sometimes I read better by actually looking at the patch notes instead of listening to some dude blab in my ear. But the background footage in this video is the new LTM mode, Solo Banquet. Again, this new mode is you versus 12 other people in a race to secure $40,000 of cash. The first person to achieve this wins the game. The game so far is super fun and absolute chaos, which I personally love. But that's enough yapping. Let's get into the juicy balance changes for these patch notes. Starting off with the abilities. There were a lot of class abilities across the board that got some buffs and nerfs, starting with the heavy class. The charge slam got an issue fixed where players could charge while standing still and steal the extraction. The second nerf the heavy got was to the mesh shield. Once again, they decreased the health from 1,100 to 1,000. This is about the third time that the heavy got nerfed, but I think it's much needed. It is a bullet hose when you do see that mesh shield. The light class also received a nerf. Light players won't be able to pop their cloaks on and off as much since it eats up more of your duration. The minimum requirement to activate your ability after fully using the cloak is now 2.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. So you need to wait half a second longer in order to hit your cloak again after fully reusing it. The grapple hook also got a nerf as well. I'm not really sure if you classify it as a nerf because I'm not sure if it was meant to be in the game, but you're no longer able to grapple onto carryables. No more supermaning with light around the map with carryables. As for the medium abilities, there was a few changes. Number one, the turret will now shoot dummies in the practice range. Kind of an odd change. I'm not sure why they did it, but alright. The recon senses also got a nerf. They increased the activation cost from 1 second to 1.5, so it also eats up more of the duration, while it takes 2 seconds for the recon senses to be used again after full use. That is pretty much it for the abilities, so let's hop into the next set of changes, and that's the gadgets. Starting off with C4, FaZe Jeb's favorite gadget.
35 rapid fire with scavenger and fucking
C4 has got a major nerf to both player damage and the minimum player damage. Flashbangs got a buff with their cooldowns being decreased from 20 seconds to 18 seconds. Gas mines have also got a nerf. They increased their cooldown from 25 seconds to 27 seconds, so it takes a little bit longer to use them. Incendiary mines got a buff as well. Their cooldowns have been decreased from 30 seconds to 27 seconds. The vanishing bomb got a buff as well. Their cooldowns are now 18 seconds instead of 20 seconds. And the RPG finally got a nerf for those of you that don't like getting absolutely eviscerated as a light or even a medium. The RPG can no longer one-shot lights. The RPG deals 140 damage now instead of 150 damage. The days of being one-shot as a light are almost over. Not quite. The stun gun also finally got nerfed after their last buff with its range. The stun gun effect now only lasts 3.75 seconds instead of 5 seconds. Honestly, that is a great change. I know you're still kind of a vegetable when you are hit with that stun gun, but it's not 5 seconds anymore, which is a little bit better, but it's still a pain in the ass. The tracking dart also got some changes. Cooldowns now have been decreased from 15 seconds to 13 seconds, and they added a new scoped sensitivity multiplier to the settings screen that affects the tracking darts. This will foreshadow to one of the snipers for you light players. While we are on the topic of gadgets and throwables, let's discuss the elephant in the room, and that's the nuclear bombs. For those of you that don't know, prior to this change, you were able to strap either 2 C4s or explosive mines to a propane canister, then send it to your enemy, dealing massive damage. There was no fallout for the throwable, meaning it could fly straight until it explodes, dealing an insane amount of damage, and it was such a pain to deal with. They have now added mass to these gadgets, meaning when you attempt to throw the canister, it will not fly straight, but instead drop off right away. I have a clip of what this looks like that you're going to be seeing on screen. This was a huge and much needed change as it was abused by almost every heavy in the game. You can still make nuclear bombs, but you need to use gravity to your advantage. So for example, you're on top of a 3 or 4 story building, you can still use the nuclear bomb and drop it right off down below. But you can't send it straight at your enemies. It goes about 5 to 8 meters. You can kind of throw it, but you can't throw it as much as you used to. As for weapon changes, there are a ton of great buffs and nerfs, starting off with the flamethrower. The flamethrower got an increase of 2 damage, totaling to 30 damage. The LH1 also got a buff from 47 damage to 49 damage. The M11 SMG for lights also got a buff to the recoil pattern, making it easier to control. The SH-1900 shotgun got a nerf to its pellet damage from 12 to 10. The M60 also got a buff by 1 damage, totaling to 22 damage. The riot shield had some updated attack animations and fixed some issues where the shield could be invisible but would still block bullets. They also fixed a issue with the heavy shotgun, allowing the weapon to be fired faster than intended. The SR-84 light sniper rifle also got a new scoped zoom sensitivity multiplier added, so that is going to be a lot better. I recently watched FaZe Jeb's video and he was discussing this topic and how it's not an individual slider, so they decided to add that in, which is great. Throwing knives got a new trail effect to make them easier to see, and they shortened the lifetime of knives stuck to metal surfaces. And finally, the V9S light pistol, they increased the damage from 35 to 36, so it will hit a little bit harder. The next category of changes will be the game modes. Bank It and Quick Cache's events now kick in at 4 minutes into the match instead of 6 minutes. The team wipe respawn in Quick Cache has been increased from 17 seconds to 18 seconds, so there will be a second added to the respawn timer. Ranked tournament team wipe respawns have also been changed. They've been changed from 25 seconds to 26 seconds, so it will take a little bit longer for you to respawn. Tournaments also followed the same respawn change as well, and they also decreased the amount of rounds needed to be able to play tournaments from 12 rounds to 1 round, so they literally just chopped it down completely. There's also some minor changes to the content and bug fixes, primarily for the animations. They updated some main menu weapon animations, and they also added a left side inspection animation to the following items. So this is pretty much every single gun in the game. When you inspect, it would look right. Now you can see the left side of it. They also had some audio fixes. They replaced an old unattended sound on the glitch trap. They fixed a zip wire attachment sound that could play on the main menu. They had some character fixes as well. So they fixed some issue where hair could clip visually with various headwear. They fixed some skinning issues that occurred on wrists and on gloves. They also added an option that allows controller players to pick the priority order of reload/pickup button actions. They also fixed an issue for console players, and this one's kind of big. They do not allow mouse and keyboard to be enabled on some consoles. I'm not sure if that's just Xbox or PS5, or if this is even on last gen. I'm not too sure. They also fixed some crashes as well, disconnects, and a bunch of other map changes and improvements. Some general changes, some changes to Monaco, Seoul, Vegas. They also tweaked some movement, so they fixed an issue where players could slingshot themselves, aka super gliding, by grinding against obstacles during vault interactions. They fixed some vaulting issues as well. They also fixed an issue where players could use quick melee options on ladders, and then there was a various amount of UI fixes as well. One of the other main changes that they didn't state, but they kind of briefly touched on it in their Twitter, was a big change to their anti-cheat. They said they want to have a fair and balanced game, especially against cheaters, so they made some upgrades to their anti-cheat. I'm not too sure exactly what that was or what the technical details are. They probably won't tell you because they don't want people to figure out what they did, so they can just reverse engineer it and make cheats for it. But I have heard that this game is not region locked, and there has been a lot of cheaters pooling into different servers, so hopefully this update to the anti-cheat will help solve that. There are no kill cams in this game, so I'm not able to really tell if someone is cheating, but if you're getting beamed across the map from more than 50 to 100 meters, they're most likely cheating. And with that, that is going to wrap up this video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if this helped keep you up to date, leave a like down below and drop a comment what your favorite change is down below. Heavy players, you're going to have to get an application to McDonald's because you're not going to be as tanky and you can't send explosives and you can't send your rockets one-shotting everybody anymore. So I'm very happy for the RPG and the nuclear bomb change. The stun gun change is probably one of my other favorites as well, but let me know down below what your favorite change was. I'm super excited for this new LTM mode. I'm going to be playing that a little bit more off camera. So if you guys want to see more finals content, let me know down below by dropping a like and consider subscribing for more finals content. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, evening, or morning, whatever it may be. Take care, brush your hair, and I'll catch you guys later.